Piers Morgan is still milking the baby reindeer story. Putin says Russia could use nuclear weapons if its sovereignty or territory was under threat. Ukraine started using the American missiles on Russia. Now, Putin is beating his chest like a gorilla. Let's see. What's going on in the world? What's going on in the world today? People fighting, feuding, looting. It's okay. Let it go. Let it flow. Let the good times roll. Tell them, Dre, it ain't nothing but music. St. Petersburg, Russia, June 5th, Reuters. President Vladimir Putin asked about the risk of nuclear war over Ukraine, cautioned the West on Wednesday that Russia could use all available means to defend itself if its sovereignty or territorial integrity were threatened. Putin said that the West had repeatedly accused Russia of nuclear saber rattling your saber, but said this was wrong. This was wrong, and pointed out that it was the United States which had used nuclear weapons against Japan in World War II. They're the nuclear saber rattlers. Putin, speaking to senior editors of international news agencies in St. Petersburg, said that Russia's nuclear doctrine permits such weapons to be used in response to a number of threats. For some reason, the West believes that Russia will never use it, Putin said. We have a nuclear doctrine. Look what it says. If someone's actions threaten our sovereignty and territorial integrity, we consider it possible for us to use all means at our disposal. This should not be taken lightly or superficially. Wow. Wow, he's coming with the nukes. Putin, Russia, Russia, Russia. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Meanwhile, they're locking me up, Putin. So go ahead, drop the bombs. Drop the bomb on him. Please don't drop the bomb on me, Shady. Please don't drop the bomb on him. Drop the bomb on him. I don't want no doggone beef. Something. Don't drop the bomb on me. Let's see. What else is going on in the news? Well, I still want to read more about this. 9 hours ago, Russia-Ukraine war. Russia warns against fatal. Russia warns France that its advisors in Ukraine are fair. Blah, 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 blah. Kremlin officially threatens war against NATO if Ukraine uses. Oh, hold on. Audio's not going in my headphones.
The northeast of Ukraine is being pounded by Russian missiles and bombs. This is the smoking, wasted city of Vovchansk, sitting in the firing line of the Kremlin's new offensive. But the United States has reversed its policy on the usage of its weapons.
Oh yeah, in nerd news last night, when I was fighting the freaking wall of flesh and I almost killed it, I forgot to pop my potions. So I didn't even use my Iron Skin potion or my Swiftness potion that I had. If I had used those two potions, I think I would have beat it. But I forgot to use them. I just ate a hot dog. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. I also want to see if I can upgrade my weapon.
Ukraine can now fire American munitions into Russian territory in the northeast of the country as a way of slowing the assault. Since the conflict began, this has been a red line for Washington. But the nightly attacks on Kharkiv and other cities in recent weeks have changed that calculation.
Over the past few weeks, Ukraine came to us and asked for the authorization to use weapons that we're providing to defend against this aggression, including against Russian forces that are massing on the Russian side of the border and then attacking into Ukraine. That went right to the president, and as you've heard, he's approved the use of our weapons for that for that
He
purpose.
doesn't know what he approved.
President Zelensky in Sweden for a Nordic Ukrainian
Here's the
summit.
guy that doesn't own a single suit. He's a billionaire. He's an actor who was installed as the leader of a government to start a fake war. It's a real war, but it's a fake war because it doesn't need to be happening. It's just happening to cause chaos and make some people rich, some warmongers. And here Zelensky is a billionaire now, and he can't even buy a damn suit. I would buy a suit if I had like 20 grand. If I had like 20 grand in the bank, I'd go buy a suit and I'd wear a suit for you guys on the show. Looking all professional. Zelensky runs a damn country, the focal point of the whole world right now. Can't even get himself a necktie.
Summit has welcomed the decision, but says the supply of Western arms
Gang,
needs to
gang.
be faster.
From the moment of acceptance of the supplement to the moment when you can
Tony Hinchcliffe was on Joe Rogan, I think yesterday or today. I'm going to watch that when I go to work.
use it, half a year can pass or even more. And it seems to me that this is the main enemy of ours, the slow supplies.
This alone will not.
I want to hear his regular. This is, I am President Zelensky. I do not own a suit. Gang, gang.
Change the course of the war. Kyiv has for many months carried out attacks
Kiev.
in Russia, but it's not broken the Kremlin's resolve. Moscow has reacted angrily, warning the change in US policy will bring with it.
Well, that's not a hospital. That looks like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Something target, a militarily applicable target. There's a better way to say that. A strategic target.
Serious consequences.
Everything is being done to prolong and escalate the armed conflict in Ukraine. The West is urgently pumping the country with weapons, transmitting intelligence data, training Ukrainian military personnel, and recruiting mercenaries. Against this backdrop, Russia continues the special military operation, and all its goals will certainly be achieved.
Boom!
What Russia now does in response remains to be seen, but this is significant. For the first time, American weapons can now be fired at Russian forces on Russian soil. The US and the West's involvement in this war against a nuclear-armed adversary has just got deeper.
Adversary? Adversary? Damn Brits don't know how to talk.
Alex Rossi, Sky News.
So with therapy, it sounds like it's helped you.
Tom's in therapy.
Would you-
Get out of here, Tom. You're so gay. Don't worry, that's a good cough. It's a cleansing cough. I'm almost not sick anymore. That cough. Now I'm coughing because I'm cleansing out all that crap. What y'all up to? What y'all up to? What y'all up to? Please don't drop the bomb on me, Shady. Please, please don't drop the bomb on me. Drop the bomb on him. I don't want no doggone beef. Ain't no reason to drop the bomb on me. Hunter Biden's ex-girlfriend details his drug use at gun trial. Oh, yeah. Oh, you going to jail too, Hunter. You think they just going to put Trump in jail? Going to jail too, my boy. Why am I subscribed to Grace Thorpe? Why is she always on my feed? $10,000 for every day you survive in the wilderness from Mr. Beast. Oh my God, I would be rich. I would have enough money to buy a suit. For sure. Even if I only made it a week. He made $1 million shot and they didn't want to pay him. Oh yeah, that's when that guy hit that full court shot at the Bulls game. The guy never got paid. The interstate's forgotten code. Yeah, I know. The even numbers go left to right. The odd numbers go up and down. Duh. Everybody knows that. It's not a secret. Steve got a new video, homeless in Hawaii. That looks pretty good. Looks like it's doing well. RFK Jr. speaks on being denied Secret Service protection. Yeah, nobody's trying to kill you, RFK. You're a mouthpiece for the damn tards. I made a short of Bo Diddle's video when he went to the Libertarian National Convention and he was asking people all these gotcha questions about uh, things that RFK said. And he's showing all the sources on the screen. Somebody comes in the comments, "You're an idiot for posting this. RFK never said that." And I was like, bro, go watch the full video instead of this short on YouTube. Do you get all your information from YouTube shorts? Go watch the full video. I tagged him in the short so that you could go watch the full video and you could see the sources on the screen and read it. And all the libertarians at the Libertarian National Convention knew exactly. He didn't get you. He was asking gotcha questions. He didn't get anybody except for one weirdo. But most of the people were like, "Yeah, I know he said that. He's an idiot. We don't like him." Even the libertarians don't like RFK for the most part. I guess if you want 9-month abortions and assault rifle bans, all because he said some cool things about COVID, even though when his wife threw a party, everybody there had to be vaccinated. Yeah, the guy's super based. Shut up. And his whole family hates Trump. Yeah, but he's based. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on now. Hello, William. Hello, William. Hello, Jeff. What do I want to do? I was thinking about listening to the Book of Enoch again. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We got to listen to part 2. Adam Francisco still doing his flag waves. I don't know. I think he might be a grifter. 1 in 2 people will get cancer, is what the guy said on JLP's thing. Alex Stein is doing a show right now about the Malaysian, or maybe he did it. Yeah, I think he's doing it right now about the Malaysia flight. New stuff has come out about it. I heard about that like months ago, and I wrote it in my phone in my notes, like show notes. I said new info on Malaysian flight, and I never talked about it. But apparently, there's new info about it. Not a big fan of Alex Stein. He's funny. He's a good troll. I like when he trolls the councils and stuff. Like a real troll, not like a keyboard warrior, nameless, faceless internet troll who just runs around and insults people on the internet, but like a real troll, like somebody who goes to events and says things to upset people. That's real trolling. That's respectable trolling. If you're just a troll on the internet, it's kind of lame. But if you're like going to the rallies, you're going to the protests, and you're trolling people, or you're going to city council meetings and trolling people, that's base trolling. I like when Outside does that. I don't like when he gossips and exposes people's private life on his show, which he does all the time. He said Elijah Schaefer Said stuff about Elijah Schaefer, said stuff about JLP, he said stuff about Nick Rekieta, which turned out to be true, but still, shut your fat mouth. Hmm. What? Crowder's doing a dictator dick off? Sadistic 16, the most out of pocket bracket you've ever seen? He's doing dissecting a dictator? He's stealing my bit. Crowder, what are you doing? I swear, they got people just like the ADL and the Media Matters got people. Fleckus, slightly offensive, Crowder. They got people watching my show, stealing my ideas. I know it. I know it. Hello, Puppet. Amazon tribe gets addicted to social media and corn. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I wonder if this is referencing me. Somebody's talking crap. I wonder if it's about me. Anyway. What's going on, people? What's going on? What it do, what it is. How do I upgrade my freaking laser rifle in Terraria? What can we watch? You want to listen to the Book of Enoch? Can I jump rope fast enough to stop the rain? No. But that's a cool video. Sounds like a good idea. Andrew Wilson is debating Dave Smith this Friday. He was Dave Smith debated Andrew Cuomo on PBD last week. I watched that. That was pretty good. Cuomo's a damn liar. Hunter Biden trial is simply a diversion tactic. Whatever. Oh, it's not a diversion tactic when Trump's getting tried for everything under the sun. But it's a diversion tactic. And that's from Newsmax. Aurelia Avi, school student journalist on Israel. I like this guy. He's from Rebel News.
Israeli Arabs have equal rights. Full stop. My officer.
This is Avi Ozraili. Is that how you say his last name? He's a journalist from Rebel News. He's pretty cool. He's got some good videos out there. And so is Ezra Levine. He's cool too. I like Rebel News. Pretty based. Pretty based.
In the army is an Arab. So you sitting here. Now, what you're conflating is Palestinian territories. So the West Bank, so disputed territories. And the Gaza Strip.
You probably remember a few weeks ago that I attended a massive rally against anti-Semitism outside the Victorian State Parliament in my capacity as a journalist for Rebel News. Now, what you didn't see is before the event officially began, I'd been interviewing the Jew-hating counter-protesters who were gathering when a man who also claimed to be covering the day introduced himself as a student journalist there to, just like me, do his job. And
then he made a
between
hit
the
piece.
interviewing of the counter-protesters who got there nice and early to cause trouble and the start of the actual anti-Semitism rally, I decided to stop and have a break and pop into a local coffee shop where the same bloke walked up and asked for an interview with me. What's up?
I'm not going to ask you about your question. I'm not coming here to say any statements about what you did or anything. But as a journalist to journalist, would you maybe be comfortable
Talking to you?
in any capacity?
Yeah.
Having a conversation?
I have no problem talking to you. I don't know why you come in defensively. It makes me think
No, I'm
there's
trying to be
something I
respectful.
should.
I'm trying to be respectful. Because obviously, I think this is the approach I've been using with everyone recently. But
So what, are you in uni studying journalism or you're...
yeah. When,
Now, before I show you that revealing interview, I just want you to watch what I found online that this unbiased
Space gun.
student journalist
Space gun
who claimed
upgrade.
to have nothing to do with the anti-Israel protesters posted on his TikTok before approaching me that day in the cafe. Watch.
That
and
day in the
nobody has the
cafe.
fucking balls to say it. It's World War III, yeah? It's a genocide.
Oh my.
Millions of fucking people. Let's do something.
Kids, that there is a definition of unhinged, and I can only guess what he meant when he was rallying the troops to do something. I guess he meant pretend to be an unbiased journalist and politely try to trip up an evil genocidal Zionist.
I don't
The
think we
only
can
problem
upgrade it.
with his grand plan is that, like the vast majority of his comrades, he doesn't know the first thing about the conflict or his protest movement or even their chants.
Calling for freedom isn't calling for genocide.
Saying, okay, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Yeah. So it's,
What are they saying?
So, from my understanding, it's that in all of Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, from in all of that land, it's
do
a
I
call
upgrade it?
for them to stop being persecuted and to stop the apartheid system.
So what you're, correct me if I'm wrong, so you're saying that what they're saying is from the river to the sea, Palestinians will be free.
Yeah.
So why didn't they say that?
Because Palestine is their culture that they identify.
No, they don't say that because they're not talking about Palestinians, they're talking about the land. That's why. And if you know where that comes from, the chant is a Hamas chant. It comes from Hamas. Hamas is not talking about your Israeli Arab who ethnically is the same as the Palestinian Arab.
But those Arabs in Israel are currently second-class citizens because they're Muslim.
My officer, firstly, not all of them are Muslim, but my officer in the army was
Muslim?
a Christian, but my friend was a Muslim Arab. You don't know what you're talking about. You're buying into.
I'm trying to make that argument.
So what I'm
That's
saying
pretty
to you is
typical for
a
people
quarter of
nowadays.
Israel is
Avi.
not Jewish. A quarter of Israel is not Jewish.
Yeah.
They are not second-class citizens. That is the biggest nonsense you'll ever hear. Go to Israel and see it for yourself. Go to the villages.
Are they second-class citizens in?
He ain't going to
Palestine?
Israel.
What do you mean? In the
The
territories?
argument is that both in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, that Palestinians are under apartheid.
Okay, so again, you've pivoted, right? So let's first come to let's clear the argument that Arabs that live in Israel, the 2 million, but there's no apartheid system in Israel proper. You can't argue that.
I disagree.
Okay, so
Just with the evidence. Do you want to see some sources?
Tell me in.
Do you want to see some
So-
sources?
so
No.
Tonight on Middle East Eye,
Yep.
which is a reputable independent journalism. They published that a Palestinian teacher in an
Also, I was in 2 blizzards. When you're in a blizzard in the snow area, the freaking what's his name, boss, is supposed to come out. And I was trying to fight him, and I was in 2 blizzards last night, and he never came out because I know how to beat him now. I built an arena, and I can kill that mofo. But he's not coming out. Where is he? He's hiding from me. He's scared. Sarah the clumsy slime has arrived. I don't know what that means.
Israeli classroom.
He's scared.
It was footage of the kids that they published on Snapchat chanting, "Burn your village down."
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Okay. If
What do you
that's
think
true,
about
that's
that?
horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. But one, how is that describing an apartheid system? That's not an apartheid system. That's poorly educated little racists. If that's true, right? I want to see what it is because I don't know what. Like you're telling me, but still, even if it's true what you're describing, that's not apartheid. Apartheid has a very specific meaning.
How would you define that?
Apartheid.
Yeah.
What's the definition of apartheid?
In your words, how would you?
What is the definition of apartheid? You're the one using it. You're claiming Israel's apartheid. No, but you're claiming Israel is apartheid. So can you define it?
See,
What's apartheid?
So in my mind, apartheid is a systematic separation, which comes in early with identification.
Where did my door go?
dehumanization,
What the heck?
Yeah, and then alienation.
How did my doors get torn down?
Systematic.
And I'm saying that the Israeli government, not Jewish, not Jews. I'm saying that the Israeli government.
So what I'm saying to you is institutionalized racial segregation. That's what it is.
Yes.
So let's take your example because that's the example you gave me of apartheid.
Yeah.
How is that?
So can a Palestinian man?
So wait, are you talking about Israel or the Palestinian territories? So Israel proper? So Israel, with 2 million out of the 8 million are Arabs.
Yeah.
How is it apartheid if they have equal rights?
They don't. That's
what
the
rights
argument.
don't they
That's
have?
the argument.
So what rights don't they have?
They don't have the right to own their own land because a settler will come in
Rubbish.
and take that property.
No, you're talking shit.
Am I?
Yes, Arabs own land. Like Israeli Arabs have equal rights. Full stop.
I'm
My
not gang
officer
gang.
in the army is an Arab.
Gang
So
gang.
you sitting here. Now, what you're
bum,
conflating
bum,
is Palestinian
bum, bum.
territories. So the West Bank, so disputed territories, and the Gaza Strip. Gaza Strip is controlled by Hamas. It's ruled on its own. Now, that has there's the blockade from Israel side, Egypt side. That's something specific, but that's not apartheid. They rule their own thing. Then the West Bank, okay. So this is where you say when you look at non-citizens not getting equal rights to citizens. Well, obviously, show me one country where non-citizens have the same rights as citizens.
So
an apartheid system would be if they were in the one country and they based on racial reasons, racial identification, they were segregated or they were less
religious,
or
racial,
religion. Doesn't matter either.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen in Israel because you don't know what you're talking about. You need to go. You're repeating talking points.
I'm making the argument.
Okay, but your argument is based on a lie, Khabib. It's based on a lie. 2 million Arabs in Israel share absolutely equal rights. You're conflating Palestinians from the West Bank, which are not citizens. So you can't have. So educate yourself before you make that argument.
I'm trying to. That's why.
Yeah, no, you're not trying to educate yourself. You're trying to educate me on something that.
I'm really not. I'm asking you the questions. I hope you can.
No. I'm just.
I am trying to educate myself. I promise you.
So what
That's
I'm saying.
why I'm here talking to people.
So the first step is go and learn the difference between Israeli Arabs, which are ethnically Palestinian, and Palestinians living in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Palestinians under either the Palestinian Authority on the West Bank and Palestinians under Hamas in the Gaza Strip.
Okay.
They are different
Yes.
to Israeli citizens, a quarter of the country, Israeli citizens that are Arabs, that share their same national identity, and every poll that they've ever taken, they've all wanted to stay in Israel proper.
Israel proper.
I've got to go.
Okay, just.
I hope for you that you educate yourself and you don't just repeat talking points.
Now that it's off, I promise you I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to, I mean, you're a strong voice on one side. I'm trying to make the other side's voice in a reasoned, compassionate, like I actually do want to hear you out.
No. I accept that. I'm frustrated when people who know nothing about it just repeat talking points. And trust me, there's a lot that you can criticize the Israeli government about. I've done it for years. You can, just like I criticize the Australian government. There's a difference between that and then just repeating absolute lies about the only real democracy in the Middle East. Anyways, I better run.
That was not that
If you
interesting.
agree that it's important for the world to see how ignorant the loudest voices often are, especially on this subject, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, share it far and wide. And
Subscribe, mate. What do people think about Donald Trump's conviction? Oh, I'm sure James is going to talk to some dummies here. Which of these vegan cold brands would you consider choosing? None of the above. They don't even
How
have.
much time would you like to see Donald Trump
They don't even have Cadillac on that list.
spend in prison for his crime? What would you like to see?
All of his life.
All of his life. He should go to prison for life. Wow.
And for you guys to be out here celebrating a felon?
We're all fatigued. We're overloaded. We're being bombarded with nonstop attacks on America.
Do you think that he was targeted? Do you think
That
it was a
sounded like
biased
Duncan.
trial against him?
No.
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. Donald Trump was officially convicted on 34 felony counts for the Stormy Daniels hush money case. So what do people think about this, and will it impact their decision for this year's presidential election? Today we're going to find out. Let's go talk to some people.
What is a drippler?
Huge shout out to our friends over at Allegiance Gold for sponsoring this video. Excuse me, sir. Sir, can I get your thoughts on the conviction?
Huh?
Can I get your thoughts on the conviction?
I trust the jury.
Right.
They heard the facts. I didn't hear all of them. They had a time to deliberate, and they came to a verdict.
Your initial thoughts on Donald Trump getting convicted, the first in American history?
Well, it's about time.
This is a court of law, so I'm sure the facts were presented and the jury decided.
The law did its thing, acquitted or convicted. It is what it is. Yeah. Let's see what happens next.
Yeah, the evidence showed that he was guilty, but, you know...
Look at this idiot wearing a mask. It's a sunny day in California, and you're out wearing a damn mask. You fool. I'll be right back. Need more coffee. Whoa. Can't sit down too quick in this chair. This thing might flip me. Thing ain't safe. But I signed up for a Dragon Ball program June 27th. So we can use this deck that I just bought. I just gotta sleeve it up, get all the extra cards put into it, and train with it with Mario.
This is
Or
how I
July
feel.
27th.
If he
so
doesn't actually
got
get
like 2
convicted
months.
and nothing actually happens, this is only going.
Problem is, it's 10 a.m. It's 9 a.m. on a Saturday. I work Saturday nights and Sunday nights. So that means Saturday night, I'm going to work from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., get home, start the tournament, play the tournament for 7 hours, and then maybe get to bed by 6 o'clock at night, and then wake up again at 9, and then go to work again for another 10 hours. It's going to be rough. I might ask for one of those days off, but I might not, because if Floor's coming, then I might ask for a couple of those days off. I think I have like 2 or 3 paid days off available. I don't know if I'm going to use them. Might wait till like Thanksgiving to use those.
Going to help him. It's only going to feed into the idea that he's being persecuted, which absolutely, you know, I can understand the argument for why that is.
Give me your thoughts on Donald Trump getting convicted.
Oh, that was bullshit. Am I allowed to say bullshit?
Yes.
You just did twice.
Come on. You kidding me?
A shame. It's a stain on America, a stain on our legal system, and on the Democratic Party.
You guys see it as more targeting Donald Trump than anything?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why don't they start doing this to the Clintons? Why don't they start doing this to all the way back to Roosevelt?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it said that he has more felonies now than
Roosevelt.
Al Capone. It's like,
That's correct.
This is targeted.
Everything
Isn't
is
he still alive?
Political
I think they're trying to assassinate him
assassination.
so that he
Because
won't become president.
yeah,
For sure.
there you go.
So we're going to vote even more for him.
Obviously, it's
Well,
very
you can still only
unfortunate
vote
and a
once,
disgrace to
but
this
okay.
country.
So you think it's a bad thing?
Yeah.
Do you see it
Yeah,
as
of
a biased trial
Unless you're a
against Donald
dead
Trump?
Democrat, then you can
Has
vote
this
like 20
impacted
times.
your
Decision,
willingness
no.
or decision or anything to vote for Donald Trump?
No, not still going to vote Trump.
We have July. We have the judge that will be sentencing Donald Trump. If he gives Donald Trump jail time, would you guys still vote for Donald Trump even if he was in jail?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. 100%.
Would you still vote for Donald Trump if he was in jail?
Nothing's going to change my mind.
100%.
Yeah, I'll still vote for him, of course. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, it's got to be obvious. You'd have to be blind or like mentally disabled not to see what's happening here.
How much time would you like to see Donald Trump spend in prison for his crime? What would you like to see?
His whole life.
All of his life.
For you to celebrate a guy
Really
who
quick,
just
really
got
quick.
convicted.
Do you mind if I ask you? A lot of
Oh my
people are
God.
seeing this as a biased trial against Donald Trump.
Of course they do, because they love Trump.
Yeah, I don't know all the facts, but I don't think it was biased per se. I mean, you can say that about any trial and whatever.
What do you think about that?
It's a lot of rubbish. From the beginning, he
Little
lied.
rubbish.
I never had sex with that gal.
You're
but he
from
did.
England. Shut up.
I think they should have brought
That
out.
actually wasn't a part of the trial. This was a
Whoa!
falsification of business records. This is a records error trial.
It just landed on a
Did you have
trap.
sex with Stormy Daniels.
That was
Daniels
not good.
trial.
No, but he always denied it.
Yeah, but that's separate. That's separate from the case, right?
I understand. I just meant.
I just want to make sure I'm clarifying for the viewers. Do you think that he was targeted? Do you think it was a biased trial against him?
No.
The reasons why people are bringing up kind of a biased trial. You have CNN's top legal analyst talking about this trial because there's a couple areas that was a little bit weird. You have the district attorney that ran on getting Donald Trump. Do you see that as a bias?
No.
He ran on getting Donald Trump. When it comes to telling people, convincing people
now
that
now you're going down a different road. Thank you.
do you mind giving people a message that would convince them that it's not biased against Trump?
All right, everyone, let's take a few moments to talk about today's sponsor, the people that made this video possible, Allegiance Gold. So as we close in on the election, it's really no surprise that Donald Trump is gaining support among all Americans, especially the working class. While many Americans are struggling, the Biden administration continues to attempt to gaslight the American people, saying that the economy has never been better, when we all know the country's facing challenges. Among those, rising inflation, rising...
Also, there's one part in here where I got stuck and I fell down into the lava, and I've saved it, but that was a problem. That caused me problems. I think it was right here. Okay, yeah, this area is a problem. Let's fix this. We don't want to be getting stuck behind walls in lava. I'm going to fix this platform. We're going to bust these walls out. Bust them walls. Them sweet sugar walls. Why is my pickaxe not working? Do I not have a pickaxe with me? I do have a pickaxe. Why is it not working? Oh, I know why. Now it'll work. And I need another voodoo doll. So we gotta find one of these demons that's holding a voodoo doll. Okay, there's a door here. Door. Just want to make sure there's no places where I can get stuck. Like Chuck. You know? Get out of here. Get out of here, you stupid imp. Okay. See this lava? It's a problem. Alright. And then this spot, I think this is actually where I got stuck. So we'll build another platform down here. We're about to run out of platforms. And then this area up here is kind of weird. We want stairs there. Stairs there. I don't care.
Debt and rising interest rates. There is a reason why so many of you guys watching have invested in gold, because it stands on its own as a beacon of stability, and also over the last 5 years it's also almost doubled in value. Allegiance Gold has done things the right way from the beginning, so it's really no coincidence that they've earned the highest trust ratings in the precious metals industry. They have 5 stars with TrustLink and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Allegiance Gold can help you protect your IRA or 401k with physical gold and silver, or if you prefer, you can have it delivered securely to your front door. And right now you guys can get up to $5,000 in free silver on a qualifying investment when you go to protectwithklug.com or call 866-335-KLUG. Protect your financial future today. Visit protectwithklug.com or call 866-335-KLUG. I'll put a link down in the description below. Let's get back in the video.
CNN top legal analyst was also bringing this up when it comes to District Attorney Alvin Bragg. He ran on getting Donald Trump. That was a big thing. Do you see that as being biased against Donald Trump, who he is prosecuting?
But again, I'm trying to be objective here, but you always have your biases, but you can't do anything about it.
We ran on getting Donald Trump.
Okay, but as a district attorney, you either write I'm fighting for crime, tough on crime, or you're saying that you're going to get this guy. I don't know.
And then you have the judge that actually donated to Joe
Biden,
Biden, donated money to Joe Biden, and his daughter raised money off the trial. What would your message be to show people that that is not biased against Donald Trump? That is not a biased group against Donald Trump.
It's nothing to do with it. It's nothing to do with it.
It's nothing to do with it.
District attorney that downgraded 60% of felonies in 2023, okay, and used a falsifications of business records charge, which is a misdemeanor, but connected it to campaign finance law to bump it up to a felony. Do you think that that is suspicious? That a more soft on crime DA went actually upgraded Trump's charge in this case?
Yeah, possible. I think that there was enough evidence to up it to the felony with the election thing, because the way that was whole set up between, you know, having the $435,000, which was payments, $30,000 each of payment, and then the way they did it where Trump wrote the check and FedExed it back and forth between everybody, you know.
But if it was for the election, right, they couldn't have spent that money. They couldn't have spent election money on that anyways.
Yeah,
they would have been fined as well, because that would have been
I voted for Trump, but he's very vindictive, and I don't like that.
I do want to know your thoughts about people that are supporting this, that are celebrating this, that are saying it's a great thing that Donald Trump was convicted. What do you think?
They're misguided. They haven't looked at everything. You got to look at the whole picture.
They got TDS, man.
Oh, God. It's just sad.
I mean, on one side I'd say watch out, because if they want to play by dirty rules, they're going to get that back eventually.
I just respect the rule of law, and for you guys to be out here celebrating a felon?
Do you think that this is good or
Get
bad
on your
for our
bicycle
democracy?
and ride away, bro.
In general, respecting the courts and the rule of law is really good for democracy.
That's a bad thing for the country.
What about jailing the
Everything is twisted.
political
None of you
frontrunner
were
against
there.
Joe
None of
Biden?
you sat in on the jury, yet they all did the same thing. So why is it that it's unfair? I don't get it.
CNN's top legal analyst wrote this in an article a couple days.
So I made a huge mistake. All these platforms I've built in hell to fight the wall of flesh, I built out of wood. Once I beat the wall of flesh and I go to hard mode, all of this is going to get destroyed. If I would have made it out of stone, it would stay here so that when I have to fight the wall of flesh in hard mode again, I would still have my platforms. Now I'm going to have to rebuild all my platforms. Okay, I want to rerun this and see where I got stuck. I think I fixed it. So like maybe having extra platforms down here might help in case I have to drop down. The problem is with the lasers, when he's shooting the lasers, you get stuck in the top. If I'm too close to the roof up here, I can't like fly. So I get stuck. So I need to have horizontal mobility. I need to be able to drop down, jump up, drop down. And see, I can't drop down here because there's lava down here. So what I can do is I can build platforms down here to cover this lava. And then I have more vertical mobility. Get out of here, bat. Get out of here, butterfly. The butterfly won't hurt me. Butterfly's nice. The stupid bat's gonna hurt me though. Stop. Can I just build? Can I just freely build? Can I just build this platform, please? Please, sir. See, like that. So now, when I'm running. Oh! Oh my god, why am I hitting the wrong button? So now, when I start the fight and I'm running, I can jump up. I can drop down. Jump up. Run, 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 run. Go through here. Now I have multiple levels here. Can drop down, jump up. See, this is a problem. If I get stuck in here. Don't want to get stuck anywhere. Oh, get off there. I'm about to die. All these little things are attacking me. Let's eat a piece of cake. Eat a cake. Cool. So now I have multiple routes that I can take. Just want to make sure there's no choke points. So see, I think I got stuck down here, which is a problem. But now I've fixed that. This is a problem. We want to just be able to move freely through this place. So, like, this is a problem. This would be a choke point. Okay. We're going to need some stairs. Stair, stair. I don't care. See, we have stairs there. We're going to do some more stairs over here. Ah, lava. Okay. I need to get that little section out of there. Okay, staircase, boom. Oh! Then platform. And I'm out of wood. Out of wooden platform. I'm going to try to mine this little wall out, but it's going to burn me while I do it. See, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. That's okay. We made it. Get this little chunk out. I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. I need to eat something. Take a healing potion. Okay, this is smooth. What just happened to my light? No choke points. No choke points. We want to be able to move smoothly. We could just come along, run through here, up, up, up. Probably get some of this out of here. All of this hellstone, which burns me. And then we just build a platform this way. We need more wood.
Days ago, and it says the judge, right, Judge Mershon, gave money in plain violation of a rule prohibiting New York judges from making political donations of any kind. I know we touched on this, to a pro-Biden, anti-Trump political operation, including funds that the judge earmarked for, quote, resisting the Republican Party and Donald Trump's radical right-wing legacy. And that seems to maybe stand out more so than anything else.
I forgot that that was a violation of the New York.
Take your damn mask off. You're talking to a microphone. Also need to fluidly switch between my laser, my plasma, or my space gun, and my demon sights. Use the demon sights. Does this use mana, though? No. Okay. Cool. So I need to quickly switch between this, use this up till I run out of mana, and then boom, switch to the space gun. Then when it fills up, use it up till I run out of mana, and then switch to the space gun. And then switch, use it till I run out of mana, switch to the space gun. If I do that fluidly, and I take my potions, and I don't get stuck anywhere, I will kill the wall of flesh. Oh, get out of the lava. What are you doing? See, like a spot like this could be a problem. Of what I can do. I need to get that lava out of there. So the way I do that is I come down here. Let me just open a little tunnel up. And then I run. That's still kind of messy. This little area is kind of messy. I don't like it. I only have 2 wooden platforms. I just want to make sure there's no choke points. See, like right here, we need to be able to fluidly just run and not have to worry about. See, that works, but you get hit by lava, so I don't want that. So build a little staircase. There you go. Ah! Get out of here. Oh, there's one with a voodoo doll. We need to kill him. No, he doesn't have a voodoo doll.
City law. Just, you know.
It seems slightly problematic, I would say.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is going to positively or negatively impact Donald Trump for the election this year?
Well, I think it depends on what the sentencing is.
Of course it's positive. People know what's up. It's just more affirmation that the whole damn system is guilty as hell.
When the verdict came in, I was nervous it was going to be negative, but then watching all of my friends' reactions, watching, the public reaction, I think the Democrats blew it. I think it's going to do nothing but help him.
From what I've read, it's been a positive impact.
Positive impact, right.
And from what's coming out from the world leaders, it's kind of a farce for the U.S. government.
So you mean they see it as more of a farce?
Yeah, yes.
Right. Oh, I think it'll totally help him. Are you kidding? If nothing actually happens, it's going to feed into his own narrative that he's being persecuted by the media. Yeah. Most politicians, they do feel that way as well. Depends on from either the left or the right. Obviously, Trump's on the right side. So his narrative is that the left would be potentially persecuting him for things that aren't necessarily like real threats to national security.
This has obviously broken massive precedent. I mean, I don't even know how much I have to emphasize that because it's so massive. Do you see this as backfiring on the Democrats?
Definitely. I think I saw where the following day, or maybe the same day that he was convicted or indicted. Convicted. $53 million was donated to his campaign. I think this is definitely backfiring against them.
Do you think that this is going to backfire on Democrats?
It already has.
I sure hope so. They're taking the country the wrong direction, I think. I think Trump will do the country good. Don't like the man, like his politics.
I mean, look, the African-American vote's going up, Hispanic vote's going up, Asian vote's going up. You would never seen this 10 years ago down here. I think people are waking up. I think people are just tired, man. I know, we're tired.
They could have brought this up years ago. This is a common argument. They could have brought this up years ago. Do you see this as election interference from the Democrats, or do you not?
Both parties are known for very long histories of election interference and doing whatever they can to sway it. Do I think this is timed? Absolutely. Of course.
I think that's what they intended it to be, but I think it's not working for them. Currently with his 58 million plus whatever donations and people out here that are just angry. Conservatives are done, and I think it's going to make people fight a lot harder. And even last night I was talking to somebody who said that at the previous election they weren't sure. They were on the line and they were like, yeah, he's done a lot of things I don't agree with, but he's still a pretty good president. I don't know if I want to vote for him again. And now she's sold on him. Really? And I think that's happening for a lot of people is they're looking at this and they're saying, what are they trying to hide? Like, who do they want to stop? And is he a person I want to vote for? And so I see that happening a lot more now.
Because why didn't they, like I said, why didn't they do it 7 years ago? Because the problem is as soon as Trump decided that he's going to run again, that's when all these charges from election interference, from the documents at Mar-a-Lago, the Georgia trials, all these things came in. It was all these things came in at that time. Had he not decided to run for president, he wouldn't have been charged with anything.
It is definitely election
Oh,
interference.
there's a no. Don't
This
let
is
him
like
fall in
third
the
world
lava.
level. Like, it's so transparent.
Okay, we got a
I
voodoo
mean,
doll.
maybe people that don't know anything don't care or don't get it, but real heritage Americans, people that have assimilated to this country, people that believe in freedom, they see
Get
right
outta
through
here.
this. And no matter what the propaganda and the repetition and the media keeps saying, we know what's up.
If we're going to indict him for what he did, are we going to go back and indict everybody with the Jeffrey Epstein situation
No.
and Hillary Clinton and everybody else that did wrong?
No, of course
No,
not.
those people are above the law. But
But in other words, don't be so naive.
Whoa.
The bottom line, this is politics. What are the politicians we pay them for?
is that a bad thing that this is politics, therefore political
No, but the point I
lawfare?
was trying to make was that when you're in office, what do the politicians do in Washington? All they do is investigate. When Trump will be, wait till he comes in this time, he's going to have a slew of all these people he's going to go after.
Why did we not convict Biden on his?
Well, he said that last time, and he didn't really go after him. So I don't even know if he
I don't
will.
know what that will look like necessarily.
Because he knows it's
but
wrong.
if they're going to start targeting people and pulling different things out and having these sham trials,
He always
those are
said,
gonna
"Lock
eventually
her
turn
up,
against
lock
them.
her up."
When
He
it
didn't
comes
lock up
to
Hillary.
putting the shoe on the other foot,
It
do
was
you
a
think
slogan.
that, I know this is kind of cliche, but do you think that Democrats would be happy about, let's say, Joe Biden being prosecuted and the judge donated to Donald Trump saying MAGA forever, let's get him, and then also the DA ran on getting Joe Biden and the judge's daughter using the trial to raise money for Democrats? Do you think Democrats would be okay with that, or do you think they would think it was biased?
Yeah, probably. There's always bias. In other words, we have 932 federal judges, okay? So what does really our vote mean? You go to a federal judge, he's appointed. We all know there's certain district courts that are conservative. You want something done, you go to a conservative. You have a liberal type of thing, you go to a liberal jump, the Ninth Circuit. I forget which was which.
Do you think they should have picked a different district that was more down the
Fair.
middle instead of a 90% Democratic district?
It was a tough call because in New York, I would
They're all
venture to say
Democrats.
that on the one hand, they had two lawyers that probably, scrutinized all the facts, and on the other hand, New York probably 70% were against Trump to start with when you pick
The 70% would have been an improvement on the 85 or 90% district.
I hear you.
Honestly, I think that now that it's over, at least until the sentencing portion, they're going to start seeing more turnouts like this. And I think it's going to send a message.
I live here in America 29 years ago, and I am proud American.
Why do you still
I'm
sound like
Latina,
that then?
Hispanic, proud American, and I love
You've been
this
here
man,
29 years. Why do you
okay?
still sound
He
like
is
that?
the only guy for make this country safe. Because Biden, no, nobody, Democrats, no, evils.
Back in the 1980s, my dad was a Republican. His best friend was a Democrat. His best friend was a political cartoonist for the LA Times. The two of them were best friends. And they could communicate, they could talk. Both of them would be so ashamed to see what's happening now.
Things have slightly changed, that's for sure.
We're all fatigued. We're overloaded. We're being bombarded with nonstop attacks on America.
Donald Trump is the next president of America, and I'm Peruvian Latina, proud of my presidente. I love Donald Trump. I'm from Peru, proud America. I'm here, I working hard. And I never ask for nothing free because I'm proud America.
You see the polls.
Well, why do you still sound like you just came over the border a month ago after 29 years?
Donald Trump presidente 2024.
All right, everyone, that is it for today. So there ended up being a little Trump rally here today, which was pretty interesting, but we still tried our best to talk to people from all over the political spectrum.
Look at this
Had a
lady,
couple
stop.
challenges there, but whatever. Let me know what you guys thought about these conversations down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that bell notification button so you're notified next time I post. I'll catch you all in the next video.
Biden demonstrates he's a vegetable. Extremely rare cars preserved in bubbles. That's cool.
If you make at least 150 grand a year and you're still embarrassed to take your shirt off at the pool, I'll get you.
Do you feel slightly depressed that this is the choice that your country has got, Biden, Trump? People say, well, look, he spent years saying, lock her up about Hillary Clinton. There's now footage of him saying it multiple times.
Lock her up, lock her up, lock her up.
And then he didn't do it.
If you take everything that Donald Trump says at pure face value, you're a fool.
The truth is, if you're attacking terrorists in the area of a refugee camp, this is going to keep happening.
Then you're against literally all retaliation or military action that Israel has taken.
My team have been desperate to try and get you to debate Norman Finkelstein.
It's definitely not a no. It is also not a yes.
Two seismic global stories have divided our audience, our panelists, and wider public opinion more than I can remember in modern times. The first is a criminal conviction of former President Donald Trump. The second is the deadly Israeli incursion into Rafah and the growing international demands for a ceasefire in Gaza. My next guest has passionate and polarizing views on both. I expect we'll strongly agree on at least some of it. On the other, well, let's wait and see. Returning to Uncensored with Daily Wire editor emeritus Ben Shapiro. Ben, great to see you.
You too, Piers.
I feel like a bit like when Elvis died. I'll always remember where I was when Trump got convicted. The fact that an American president, one of the only 46 people to hold that office, actually turned into a criminal felon before our eyes. When you actually heard the verdict, what was your immediate gut reaction?
I think everybody's stomach sank who actually takes the justice system seriously. The entire case was obviously a put-up job.
Dumb
the coordination between the prosecution and the judge in this particular case in order to craft a set of charges that are pretty much the turducken of criminal charges. It was
He
a
keeps
misdemeanor
saying
wrapped around
turducken.
what may have been a federal felony.
Ben,
wrapped
stop
around
saying
another
turducken.
New York state felony. And none of it made any sense. But the
Nobody
bottom
knows
line
what
here
that
was,
means.
so long as they could somehow
Is that
bootstrap
turkey,
some
chicken,
sort
duck?
of criminal case into a
Turkey,
Manhattan
duck, chicken?
jury, Donald Trump was going to get convicted. Now the only question, of course, is whether he's going to go to jail or be put under house
Don't
arrest.
besmirch
But the bottom line
turducken
here
like that.
is that going to impact the presidential race in any serious way? Not particularly. The only thing it might do, actually, is have a rally around the flag effect for Donald Trump on the right side of the aisle, and it might actually impact independents such that they look at what happened here and they say to themselves, you know, the guy who keeps preaching about democracy being under threat from Donald Trump, that guy's party seems very focused on putting his chief political opponent, who right now is winning the swing states, in jail.
Right. I mean, it stinks of being a banana republic. It's the kind of thing you would expect Americans to look at from afar and mock this kind of political abuse, really, of the judicial system. I don't care what side people are on. This seems to me like an absolute clear case of an overreach purely for political purposes. And at that point, America becomes a very different country.
For sure. I mean, the problem that you see in all of these situations is that as soon as the break glass in case of emergency glass is broken, well, now the glass has been broken. It doesn't get unbroken. And in American politics, once you have a political opponent being prosecuted along specious lines for something that really happened many, many years ago and wasn't a crime at the time, do you believe that there will be any presidential candidate in the future from either party who is going to escape the threat of criminal inquisition from a political party in another state? I mean, this again is a state-level crime, and it was brought in Manhattan. Meanwhile, you have the president's son who's being brought up on federal charges. That's happening in Wilmington. So Wilmington, Delaware, you would assume that's going to be a pretty friendly place for Hunter Biden to be brought up on charges. You know, all of this starts to call into question the justice system. Obviously, listen, we all have critiques of the criminal justice system here in the United States. We disagreed with particular verdicts. But on this one, it is so eminently clear that there is no charge that should have been leveled here against Donald Trump that it's hard for me to see how people in the middle of the spectrum look at this and take it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it seems so pathetically trivial that really at the center of this is an
I think
alleged one-night stand between a billionaire real estate magnate stroke TV star and a porn star 20 years ago. And he's then shuffled some paperwork, and then in the run-up to an election, he's wanted it to stay quiet. I mean, it just seems so trivial to me. And yet now it's led to an American president becoming a convicted felon, which, like you say, it sets such a precedent now going forward. Every party going forward will now try and do this to the leader of the other party because the precedent is now set.
you know, there have been so many of these cases where Donald Trump has been targeted in unique ways, and it's actually not done any serious damage to Trump per se. It's really done damage to the institution trying to target him. So they impeached Donald Trump not once, but twice. And now, of course, Republicans have thought about impeaching Joe Biden. That's just going to be a tool that's on the table all the time, which doesn't mean that it's an important tool anymore. It actually makes the tool less important. You're going to see the same thing happen with criminal prosecutions of political opponents across the political spectrum. There have already been calls inside the Republican Party for local DAs in jurisdictions in red states to go after Democratic officials. Now, I don't think this is a good precedent for anybody, but this is something that has been done by Democrats, and then you see turnabout as fair play. You remember that Harry Reid nuked the filibuster with regard to judicial nominees, and at the time, the Senate minority leader, Mitch McConnell, said, if you do this, this is going to come back to bite you. And of course, it did. The bottom line is that in politics, every sword has two edges. And so if you're going to go after Donald Trump with the one edge, you better be prepared for the other edge to come back at you in pretty short order.
Okay, we need to
I mean, Trump, you know,
we need to
other side looking at it, people said, well, he spent years saying, lock her up about Hillary Clinton. There's now footage of him saying it multiple times. The crowd baying for blood, lock her up, lock her up. Has he brought that on himself?
Well, I mean, again, I think that when Donald Trump's epitaph is written, it's going to say Donald Trump 45th and maybe 47th president of the United States. He said a lot of bleep. And I think that the difference between Donald Trump saying things like lock her up and Joe Biden's DOJ and his various allies in the states actually attempting to lock up his political opposition, there's a wide difference right there. This has always been one of the bizarre things about how people pretend to interpret Trump. I mean, Piers, you know Donald Trump. I've met Donald Trump and covered him for years, obviously. If you take everything that Donald Trump says at pure face value, you're a fool.
Yeah,
I mean, you're really a fool. And I think everybody knows that, including the voting public. And so when he goes out there and he says colorful things like lock her up, does anyone, and then he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He was president of the United States. His DOJ was in charge, and he didn't do it. And Joe Biden's been in charge for 3 years. And guess what? His DOJ is coming after Donald Trump in 2 separate jurisdictions, in Florida and in D.C. You got local DAs in Atlanta and New York going after Donald Trump. Kind of weird how it happens whenever it's the Democrats, but when Republicans talk about it, somehow that's equivalent. I don't buy it.
Well, I keep asking Democrats about this since his verdict came in. Explain to me why what Bill Clinton did with Monica Lewinsky and Paula Jones and the paying off of a sexual harassment case and everything else and lying to the American people, why is that deemed to be not as bad as what Trump did consensually with Stormy Daniels? I don't get it.
Right. Now, there is no sense to it, beyond which, obviously, this is such a stretch of criminal law. I mean, even people who are honest on the left will acknowledge this is the first time these statutes have ever been used in this way.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going after a former president of the United States who happens to be
Russia
leading
don't
in the
want no
polls
smoke.
against the current president of the United States, you better do better than this is a unique interpretation of law that's being brought for the very first time. That's totally insane. It better be a well-established corpus of law that has been clearly violated in a unique way, and that is not what happened here.
Do you think Trump will win in November?
I do. I think that if Donald Trump, there's always the proviso. If Donald Trump
whoa! Why did I fall
shut,
there?
he's going to win. Because if this is a
What the hell
referendum
just
on Joe
happened?
Biden's leadership, Joe Biden is falling apart. There's an article in the Wall Street Journal that just said the obvious today about how Joe Biden is effectively
Why did I
senile.
fall there?
Everybody
I must have
around him
accidentally
knows
hit
it.
down.
You can read that in the Time Magazine interview that he just did where he stumbles all over himself. He mixes up Russia, he mixes up China, he mixes up South Korea and Taiwan, all in the course of one interview. There's a reason the DOJ, his DOJ, won't release tape of his interviews with Robert Hur, apparently interviews so bad that they basically allowed him off the hook in his own criminal case with regard to mishandling of classified documents because he was so doddering and so elderly that he might be too sympathetic to a jury. If this is a referendum on Joe Biden's leadership, Donald Trump will win. If Donald Trump makes himself the center of the election, then that's a dicier issue for him, obviously.
Do you feel slightly depressed that this is the choice that your country has got? Again, Biden-Trump.
I don't.
I mean,
I'm ready for a rematch.
I think that, like most American voters, you know, this wouldn't have been my optimal. I didn't vote for Donald Trump in the primaries. I am financially supporting him in this election, right? I'm fundraising for Donald Trump because Joe Biden, in my opinion, cannot be president. He is just that bad a president, and he should not be occupying the White House. I know what a Donald Trump presidency looks like, and that's a lot of wild rhetoric and a lot of pretty good policy. And I know what a Joe Biden presidency looks like, and that is basically oatmeal in the mouth. And
my name is Michael Lapine, and I'm the Executive Director of Reasonable Faith with Dr. William Lane Craig,
This is a problem right
one of
here.
the world's leading Christian
I'm out of wood,
philosophers
though.
and theologians. For over 7
terrible policy.
I think I have a recall potion and I can go cut some trees down.
I mean, it is a strange election. I can remember feeling in 2016, I was absolutely sure Trump would win because I could feel it. This time, it's interesting. There's a Reuters poll came out and it said that 10% of registered Republicans and 25% of registered independents were now less inclined to vote for Trump since these verdicts came in. But at the same time, he's raised over $200 million, according to Eric Trump, for the campaign, which is a staggering amount of money. So clearly the base has been massively surging on the back of this with their fury. But at the same time, is it concerning for him that even some of his own party now feel less inclined to vote
My
for him?
daughter is moving out. She recently got married.
Less inclined ain't, I'm not going to vote for him. Less inclined is less inclined. I don't think you find a lot of Democrats right now who are massively inclined to vote for Joe Biden. I mean, the lack of enthusiasm in the American public for this electoral cycle is absolutely palpable, which cuts in Donald Trump's favor, by the way, because a lower turnout election is how Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton in 2016. In 2020, he had an unprecedented jump of 22 million additional voters in the voting pool between 2016 and 2020, and those cut largely for Joe Biden. Many of those were in the early balloting, obviously, via mail-in ballots. That same thing is not going to happen this time. Joe Biden, in a low turnout election, has got a very serious problem on his hands. That's why he keeps trying to go back to his base. It's why he is now being forced to campaign in the black community, which presumably normally Democrats are going to win that 90-10. They're afraid that he might lose 15-20% of the black. He doesn't even have to do that. If he doesn't get heavy black turnout in this election cycle, he probably loses in the swing states.
Is there any chance that he is persuaded to stand aside?
See,
And
that's
if
why
he
there's
does,
racism.
is
Why
there
is
any
there a black
Democrat out there that you would fear?
Ain't no dang white vote.
Very unlikely he would stand aside. He's made very clear. I mean, he literally threatened to fight a Time magazine reporter 2 days ago who asked him about that, to which I say, I'll watch that televised. Like 10 out of 10 would watch that fight. But he's not going to stand. If he were to stand aside, Kamala Harris is a much worse option for the Democrats than even Joe Biden is. The only person
Hey, what do you think about Conor McGregor
from the wings, and I think everybody
fight
knows this, is Michelle Obama.
in a
Michelle
month?
Obama does have a very high level
I
of
think he's gonna
popularity in the
lose.
United States. She's widely seen as sort of an Oprah-like
I think he's
figure,
done. Yeah. I think
despite
he's
the
gonna
fact that
lose
she's
and he's
fairly
gonna be
radical
done.
politically. So that'd be the
I
one
don't
feel
even
like
know
she
why-
seems to have no inclination to want to do that. Plus, Joe Biden is not going to step aside. Now, again, I think the possibility.
Why was freaking Conor McGregor ever so popular? I think he's lame. I watched a movie that he was in recently, like a fighting movie. Oh, it was Roadhouse. It was a remake of Roadhouse. Conor McGregor was in it. And he's such a horrible actor. It's so bad. So bad. Why are there not very many trees for me to cut down? Did I cut down every tree? Am I dang genociding the trees? Treeicide? Pesticide? What would that be called? Arbicide? Connor is injured. But if he did fight Chandler, has no shot against. If he did, fight Chandler. What are you saying? If he did fight Chandler, has no shot against him. You think? Well, I don't know how good Chandler is, but I think Connor's washed up. It's not even for a belt or anything. He's always injured. He's always something. It's always something with this guy. Get him out. I'm done. Done with Conor McGregor. You are just a Conor hater. He's one of the greats and has one of the most exciting styles we've seen, but he pulled out looking to replace him with Max or Volk. Well, that's... Bro. No, he's inconsistent. He's a big mouth who gets beat. He's always injured. He's always on drugs. He doesn't show up. He's cocky and annoying. I have just reason to not like him as a UFC fighter. So how about that? What you got to say about that? Huh? Taboo, Demon Sight, 47, Magic 4, Critical Strike, very fast knockback, plus 10 speed, average knockdown, average knockback, uses 13 mana, uses 14 mana. Cast a Demon Sight, 4% critical strike chance, very fast speed, some critical strikes down, 47% damage, very fast speed, plus 10% speed, plus 15% knockback, plus 10% knockback, plus 10% speed. I think this one's better. Building mats. Star in a bottle. Star in a bottle. Hellstone brick. Bars, blocks. Building mats, gems. Bricks are building mats. That chest is full. Keep this. Keep this. Put all this in a chest. Put this on my wall somewhere. I'm running out of room for all my banners. And then in this place, do that. And then this one up here, we'll put this. There we go. There we go. There she blows. Okay. I think the next time we fight the wall, we're going to beat it. Beat it. Beat it. No one wants to think about it.
The possibility of a serious health event between now and November is really high
AKA
because I subscribe to a political philosophy that says that the rule about Chekhov's gun, that if it's over the mantle in Act 1, it will be used by Act 2. I think that that's descriptive, not normative. So I think there's a really good shot that the thing we've all been waiting for, which is some sort of serious health event to happen to Joe Biden, unfortunately, I have a feeling that's going to happen before November.
I've got a bad feeling. It just doesn't look at all well to me, or functioning properly
what's that mean? Work knock knock?
On that level, it's just sad to watch. Who's the smart play for Trump as his running mate?
I think anybody who gives a feeling of solidity for Trump. So there's been some talk about Tim Scott. I think Tim Scott would be fine. I think Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas would be fine. I think, Nikki Haley, although the base doesn't like Nikki Haley very much, she obviously has appeal to centrists in the polling. So you could see a world where Trump isn't going to lose his base. His base is going to show up to vote for Donald Trump. So politically speaking, putting aside whatever disagreements I or anybody else has with Nikki Haley, she would not be a bad pick for that political position. Doug Burgum, North Dakota. Bottom line,
Doug Burgum,
I don't
let's
think
go.
Vice presidential candidates win you an election.
I like Doug.
I do think a bad vice presidential candidate can really hurt you electorally, which is why Joe Biden being saddled with Kamala Harris.
I didn't even think about that. That would be a great VP pick. I think Doug did great in the debates. And since he was lesser known, they kept cutting him off and they wouldn't really let him talk that much. But whenever he did talk, he was shutting it down. I think Doug's a cool guy. Now, there may be things about him. I'm not from wherever he's from. I forget where he's from. Maybe he's done stuff that is bad that I don't know about. But just from his showing in the debates, I thought Doug was pretty cool. Doug seemed kind of based. Plus, he hooked up with Patty Mayonnaise. He's Quail Man in his spare time. So don't count out Doug. I'll take Doug over Tim Scott or Nikki Haley or Kristi Noem, who is my guess. I'm guessing Kristi Noem just based off of the media attacks she's been having lately. I think she's a potential choice. I don't think he's going to pick Vivek. A lot of people are saying he's going to pick Vivek. I don't think that's going to happen. It's possible. It could happen. But my money's on Kristi Noem, but I think Doug would be a great choice. Or Vivek. Vivek would be cool, but I don't think he wins if he picks Vivek. Because as much as Trump is hated, Vivek is hated by both sides. So there's too much baggage that comes with Vivek. There's too much baggage that comes with Nikki Haley. I'm thinking it's Kristi Noem, but I'd like Doug. Kristi Noem, Tim Scott, those are probably my two, if I was going to put money on who he's going to pick for VP, my first choice is Kristi Noem. Second choice is Tim Scott. But that's just who I would bet that he would pick. But who I want him to pick is Doug. Old Doug. Show you how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Everybody love me. Everybody.
Is really bad because she's the first VP candidate that people have looked at in a while and gone, whoa, she might actually be president, and that's the person who he's running with?
Well, what's incredible is that he insisted on having a black woman as his vice president. And their approval ratings with the black community in America have been plummeting and migrating to a guy.
Yeah, because he picked the worst black woman ever.
Biggest racist in the country.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact is that Joe Biden has been relegated to simply pandering and pandering and pandering at this point. I mean, he went to
diversity,
Morehouse
equity,
College, and
inclusion rating, his
to brand
social
new
credit
college
score.
graduates that they were
gotta
facing
get that
an
social credit
intractably
score up.
racist America in which they could never succeed. He was saying this to people at their graduation from college, a really uplifting message from the President of the United States. And I think that him attempting to relieve student loan debt, I think that many of his policies in the Middle East, a lot of what Joe Biden is doing right now is geared toward trying to re-enthuse a very unenthusiastic base.
Yeah, I agree. Let's turn to the Middle East. I know you have very passionate, strong feelings about all this. Where do you think we are with the war? I mean, if you're being completely honest with yourself, perhaps, do you feel it's reaching a point where Israel?
I think we're about ready to fight
at
the
some
wall.
stage do some kind of deal.
I just wish I could upgrade my space gun, and I don't know how.
Well, I mean, it depends on the kind of deal that would be
I don't know how
on
to
the table.
reforge.
Presumably, any deal that leaves Hamas in power in the Gaza Strip would not be acceptable to the Israeli government, no matter who was leading the Israeli government at this point. No government in Israel could stand on the basis of that after October 7th. And so far as I'm aware, Hamas has not accepted any deal that involves Hamas actually leaving power, its leaders going into exile, and Israel not completely pulling out of the Gaza Strip. So, yeah, again, there is no deal on the table like that. I think the realistic scenario here is that Israel, because of all the pressure, is going to go slower in Rafah than they otherwise would have, which, frankly, I think is bad policy for the Israelis. I think it's bad policy for the West. This thing could have been over back in March if the West had let Israel kind of finish the job in Rafah and then
think I need
move on
Dylan to
whatever the
reforge.
next thing is. And of course,
I think I need my guide to reforge stuff, but my guide is dead because once you throw the voodoo doll into the lava to fight the wall of flesh, the voodoo doll is your guide. Oh wait, I got a new guide. You're gonna die soon, Jacob. Sorry, buddy. You ain't gonna make it. Let me see. Place a material here. I can't place the space gun there. How do I reforge? Crafting window. Place a material here. Yeah, see, I don't know how. I want to reforge the space gun and see if I can get a mythic space gun. So this is my guide. He ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it, boy. How do you reforge? How do you reforge in Terraria? Space gun, knockback, mana, blah, 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 projector career, green laser sounds, equipped, a full set of meter, combining 20 meter, whatever, whatever. Modifier is mythical. How do you modify it? Recipes. 3DS only ingredients, meteor by far, ore, iron ammo, 11 gun, physical space gun, meteorite bar. See also edited laser rifle magic similarly, Zappinator, gray Zappinator, despite me called a gun, this magic weapon space gun. Appears to be based on a ray gun. With meteorite armor, space does not cost any mana. Back on the high illusion of a wall of flesh, lasers can penetrate through the hunger. Yeah, that's why I was messing up before, and I was always dying so fast because I wasn't using the space gun. It penetrates. It's a penetrator. Gets through the hungry and hits the eye. That's why you got to use the space gun.
That's the other big problem. You and I have discussed this before. What is the next thing? Who's willing to take responsibility for the situation in the Gaza Strip other than the Israeli military? It's not the Americans, not the UAE, it's not the Jordanians, not the Saudis, not the Egyptians, none of whom, by the way, will accept any Palestinian refugees under any circumstances, good or bad. So, again, that's an intractable problem. But as far as finishing off Hamas as a functioning, well-organized military machine, the final step of that is finishing things off in Rafah, where there's still at least 3 battalions of Hamas fighters in Rafah. Of course, the biggest problem for Israel right now actually may not militarily be in the south. The biggest problem for Israel right now is militarily in the north, where Hezbollah has really been upping the ante. Yeah, they obviously believe that their pressure up north is going to force Israel into concessions down south, and they believe that the West is going to continue to pressure Israel even in the face of increasingly deadly fire aimed from southern Lebanon into northern Israel.
See, where I was slightly to take issue with you with this situation with Rafah is that the American intelligence is clear that they believe that Hamas's ability to commit anything like October the 7th again has been completely degraded.
I think we're
They
fighting
no longer see
and killing the wall
them
flesh
as
next
a
time.
existential threat of any kind to Israel.
I still want to kill
And
the
of
freaking
course,
other
you've got
boss, but he
hundreds
doesn't
of
ever come out to
thousands
fight me.
of innocent women and kids in this refugee camp. And you've also got the remaining members of Hamas deliberately putting themselves around refugees and almost, I would imagine, hoping that Israel continues to bomb, because each time they land a bomb, tents will catch fire and 50 more civilians get killed and more opprobrium rains on Israel's head. And that there's a kind of no-win scenario there, and the ultimate gain that gets Israel to finish off Hamas in Rafah will be completely negated by the downside of so many more civilians being killed.
All right, I got to go in a little while, guys. So I'm going to end the stream, just a little short stream. Playing some games and checking out the news for a little while. I'm going to head out. Maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got to do some grocery shopping in the morning. Got to get some dog food and some dog treats and some food for myself. So I'll see you guys later. God bless. Have a good night.